Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Adventure Starts Here podcast. This week, we played I Am Your Beast, a high-speed, covert action FPS where you wage guerrilla warfare against the military-industrial complex across vibrant comic book micro-levels. Please be aware this is a full spoiler discussion. We discuss the narrative in depth, as well as gameplay mechanics and pivotal moments, including the DLC. With that out of the way, enjoy the episode. All right, for this week, we played I Am Your Beast. I believe Jordan picked this game, if you want to do a quick intro.
Yeah, I mean, I basically picked this game because I wanted to pick Neon White, but I thought it'd be too much for Ben, so I picked this and then wanted to see how it would go.
This is the gateway drug of, what do we call this genre?
Like individual level
Time
speedrun game
trial?
kind of thing.
Oh no.
Micro level time trials.
Well, like you guys said, it is a game with micro levels, and it's time trial based with grades from D to S with bonus objectives. Goal is to get the best time, complete the bonus objectives, yada yada yada. So with that in mind, for you guys, which part of your daily routine are you convinced you would S rank?
Oh, that's easy. Every morning I go to the gas station, I buy the exact same things, a zero sugar energy drink and a bag of chips. I make sure that both products have their barcodes facing towards the behind the bulletproof glass so we can scan it easier. I buy the shit. He says, "Thank you, sir." I go back.
No one's beating that. No one's beating that.
Yeah,
answer.
that's
Very
hard to
good.
beat.
Fucking have the barcode pointed towards him. Even that is
Forgot about
S
that
rank.
tech.
Oh,
Yeah, I have things that are I think I would S rank, but like none are on the power level of Ben buying energy drinks.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to compete with me on this criteria because like I have a bachelor's in imaginary engineering, and as useless as that degree is, what it did allow me to do is it allowed me the ability to optimize basically any process, no matter how mundane.
oh god, I still love calling industrial engineering imaginary engineering.
I think for me it would probably be just like doing the dishes in general, and it's mostly because I just enjoy doing it, so I don't know. It's hard to beat, but I like doing dishes.
Yeah, I was just gonna say my morning routine. Like I can wake up and then get out of bed, get showered, get my teeth brushed, grab like a fucking something to eat in the car on the way, grab my little cold brew coffee out of the fridge, and get in the car and leave within 10 minutes.
Yeah, I guess in that sense I've kind of S ranked that too, because like since I like started working period, I optimized for as much sleep as I could get, meaning how late can I wake up before I have to get in the shower and get out of the door. So you're kind of right on that one.
Yeah, like I have my entire like shower routine down to like the number of scrubs under my fucking ball sack. Like I got that shit on lock. It's a very fine-tuned process.
The worst part is when you're trying to enjoy your shower a little bit and like you don't have a sense of time when you're inside the shower always. So sometimes I lose a couple minutes in there. Maybe you'll have me beat on that.
I mean, from what I
How about you,
recall,
Jordan?
Ben takes like four showers a day, so I think he's the shower king, and that's where all his ideas, that's the money
Yeah,
making
it's
ideas
true.
come from.
I don't know if Ben's the shower king in terms of like the efficiency, because that dude takes long ass fucking showers because he sits there
That's the think
daydreaming.
tank.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's I see what you're saying, but it is efficient because of the idea generation.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you two
He's
birds, one
multitasking.
stone.
It's basically half the time we perceive it as us plebs. What about you, Jordan?
Probably looking at my Steam discovery queue, as you guys know from my wish list.
Oh, very true. How many games are on your wish list? Like total?
Last time I looked, it was 5,500. It's
What the
5678.
What
5678.
the
That's
fuck?
nice.
Dog, you would be able to process through that shit like an industrial factory. What the hell?
If you would have left me up to my own devices to guess the number on your wish list, I would have guessed less than 10% of that. I knew it was in like the mid hundreds, but I never would have guessed 5,500.
I probably would have guessed like 200 or so.
I thought I had a lot, but I only have 439.
I have like 30.
I've seen 35,862 games in the discovery queue.
Well, thank God
Jesus
for you,
Christ.
because you're the one who finds all of these fucking games to play anyway. So
Yeah, and so like when it comes to talking about I Am Your Beast, I think the number one thing that's kind of on my mind when thinking about the game is one of the questions that Jordan had in here, which are what are your guys' thoughts on progression being gated behind things like bonus objectives and X amount of grades required? I don't know. I have some mixed feelings on it, so I'm curious where you guys are at on that.
I don't have mixed feelings. My feelings are very concrete. I did not like it. The moment I saw the words complete bonus objectives
Yeah.
X7 on the screen, I closed the game and I didn't open it for 24 hours.
Yeah, I think you
yeah,
did the game dirty by starting with this question because I think this is the most like hellacious question we have.
yeah, I agree. Because I think like it's hard, right? Because I think that there's like two weird issues at play here. One is that um, the game lacks a next level button. I don't that like really bothered me for some reason, like having to click exit and then go back to the list and scroll down the list and click on it. Like something about that really bugged me. And then when you would fucking see that you needed like 7 bonus objectives completed or 3 bonus objectives completed or whatever, that was also just like a real like I don't even know how to describe it. Like a fly in the fucking ointment of the flow of just going through the levels of this game. Because I think these games work better when you just like. I'm thinking back specifically to the way I played Super Meat Boy, where I would just plow through the levels. I would die. I would fail. Die. 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 Beat the level. Okay, next one. Die. 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 Okay, next one. And that feels like a way better flow than like beat a few levels in a row and then have to go back and replay the levels that you've already beaten. Like it's like that's the purpose of the game, but it shouldn't be the purpose of the game until you actually want to go back and start doing that, you know?
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
also a
and
double nut punch because you can't even complete the bonus objectives until you beat the level
Yeah.
once.
yeah, like that was one of the things I was gonna say. I think that is one of the main issues with it. Like, if it wanted me to go back and just do like a single A rank or a single S rank, that's whatever. But when you get to the one where it's like you need to complete 6 extra bonus objectives, I'm like, why? Like, I already did some of these. Why is it? Oh, it didn't give me the completion for it because it was my first completion. Like, what the hell?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was super annoying where you're going through a level and you see the beehives and you're like, I wish I could just do this bonus objective. I know when I complete it, I go back to that menu.
Yeah.
It's gonna say you can now get the hornet kills. It's like fuck off.
Yeah, and like with what Thomas was talking about, where it's like asking you to go back instead of going to the next level. That's like it's like the opposite experience as Super Hot, the actual game that came out on PC, not like VR or anything. If I remember correctly, in that game, you go through like everything in the game, like you just do all of the levels normally, and then at the end of the game is when it unlocks like time trials for everything. So like you're doing the entire game, and then you have like the quote unquote challenge mode that you can do. And I don't really know why this game, when it's like I think it's very clearly inspired by Super Hot, I don't see why it deviated from that so harshly. Like, I think about this stuff in terms of incentives. Like, okay, it's clearly trying to communicate that it wants me to go back to the levels and practice some sort of refinement or experience some of the bonus objectives or whatever, but it sucks when it gets in the way of itself in the way that it does.
Yeah, I think the bonus objectives themselves aren't even fun. Like they kind of like built like a fun game, and then they were like, "Hey, do you want to do not fun things inside of this fun game?"
Yeah, I agree. There were some exceptions to that where I actually did enjoy doing the bonus objectives, but yeah, by and large, they just felt kind of like tacked on and like they they made the levels actively worse to
Yeah,
actually go
exactly.
through most of the time.
They were very anti-accessibility because like I had all the accessibility settings on like the super auto aim where it just snaps to people's heads, and then you get the bonus objective that says body kills only, and I'm like, fuck you,
Oh
game.
no.
That's funny. I don't even know that was a bonus objective. I always just like
I
went
think it was
around
one
and
of them,
would pick
but
the
like
easy ones.
even then, there's other ones like explosive kills. So if you have the auto aim on, you have to like finagle the analog stick just so that it does not snap to an enemy and it snaps to a barrel, and like they're shooting you the entire time. But I guess the AI wasn't so aggressive, so it wasn't so bad. It was just
Hmm.
annoying.
Yeah. I think the Tom rewrite of the way that I would have done the progression gating in this game is I would have just required you to have a rank floor on the previous level. So like if you wanted to do level 10, you had to have like a B on level 9 or whatever, and then maybe like progressively stack that higher and higher to where I don't know, levels 1 through 10 you just basically need to beat it, just get a C or whatever. 10 through 20 get a B, 20 through what is it? 27 get an A. Cuz like those are not difficult markers to reach, in my opinion. Like most of the time I beat a level, I just kind of accidentally ate it anyway. And I think that the flow doesn't get so fucked up if you're actively sitting there doing the same level over and over again, because that's how these games are designed, is to sit there and like autistically repeat the same level over and over. So if you're doing that for one level to try and get to the next, that feels a lot more manageable and less like interrupting to the flow of the game than if you're going back to like level 2 from 20 or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. I guess I just have to question the need for any
Yeah.
competency game
Yeah,
because, like,
that
Yeah.
too. That too.
if it's just for replayability, they have like those other modes in the main menu that I didn't actually click on, but I assume they're there for replayability.
Yeah, if they were like non-negotiable on having some kind of progression gating, I think that's how I'd do it. But I think the game would be better just without it. Period,
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, the player should want to just replay the levels because they're fun, not because you said, "Hey, go replay these levels."
Yeah, like if you want to offer an award of some kind for like S ranking or whatever, I don't know, like concept art or some shit like that, you
Yeah.
can do that. But when it's just your progression gated, it makes me want to pursue the high ranks less.
Yep.
Because it's like, oh, okay, I already like unlocked the last level. I don't feel like I need to go back and do them anymore because I already did everything the game was asking me to do.
Yeah, I think it should definitely just be the game kind of dictating that you want to play it more versus saying you have to play it more.
Yeah. I mean, given this entire discussion, I actually did end up going back and doing that. Like, I was trying to S rank all the levels before we met today. I think I only got up through 20, but like, even in spite of all of this, I did still want to go back and like do those repeat challenges and shit.
Were there any S rank pursuits that were just total horse shit, like bad design level, or were they all
Yeah.
pretty fun?
Permafrost is a bad one.
I don't know if this counts. It was a pretty early one. It was the first one where I tried to get the bonus objectives to meet that requirement. I think it was like the non-kill or like get 0 kills, and it seemed like it was easy. But there was one where like you like go up to like the escape hatch and it explodes, and there's two enemies
Yeah.
that always get killed by the explosion.
I
So you,
fucking hated that.
so you had to like stand there for a little bit away from it, wait for the enemies to walk towards you while they're shooting you, and then you have to go to the escape hatch so
Yeah.
that it can explode
I
without
always-
killing them.
I always wondered if stuff like that would count. That's really funny.
Yeah, it did. I was bitching to Jordan while I was streaming the game like last night or the night before about how much that annoyed me. That exact spot that you're talking about.
Hmm.
But in terms of the actual S ranks, yeah, the levels that aren't timed, where you just have to kill the enemy waves, are by far the least fun to S rank, and Permafrost is the leading champion of that because um, I don't know how much you guys actually bothered going back and replaying stuff, but on those levels, like Permafrost, basically it's just enemy waves will spawn, and you are awarded a certain point value based on how you actually kill enemies. So, like if you kill them with an exploding barrel, they're worth 100. If you just shoot them in the head, it's 50. If you just stab them with a knife, it's 30. And what I found was that the easiest way to min max it to guarantee an S rank was to just fucking kick everything with the boot, because that was 80 and that was like an unlimited resource. So I didn't have to like sit there and wait for enemies to like pile up near barrels. I could just ran around like fucking Duke Nukem with my boot. And it was really, really not fun and tedious.
That's funny.
Yeah, I had to do that one time to get the S rank, and that was also the conclusion I came to, with the addendum that like you would. What I did was I would get a weapon first to throw to stun them, which gave you points, and then you stomp them with your foot to get the other
Yep.
points.
Yeah. All the other S ranks though, on like the actual timed levels, honestly, they were a blast. Like I liked the ones where like I would try and get to the hatch as soon as I could, like literally just point A to point B through the objectives and stuff. and you found out that like it's pretty much just not possible to do that. Like you actually do have to take some time to kill enemies and add to your timer and stuff. And so coming up with like creative pathways and routes to min max. Okay, how do I like get enough headshots to where I will have the S rank by the time I get to the hatch? Honestly, it was a lot of fun in some of the levels. I'm actually going to go back and probably do the last like 6 or 7 that I have left, just because honestly, it's just a lot of fun.
I like the earlier levels more than the later levels. I think the later levels get a little convoluted in routing, and it just kind of wasn't as fun as the early levels, where it was like you clearly have like a thing, and then you need to find these minor efficiencies versus just having to like figure out like where are these enemies hiding? Why do they come over sometimes? It just started to get less and less
Yeah.
fun.
I think
It took
there's definitely exceptions to that, but as a whole, I do agree. The only one I like really felt the need to go back and S rank, I did it on the very first level, and I actually enjoyed it for the reason you're saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll ask some other stuff later. What were you gonna say, Ben?
it took me an embarrassingly long time to figure out that the red spots on the radar tell you the general location of the enemies.
Man, I like
I didn't
never
know
looked at
that
that
till right
thing to be
now.
honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I never looked at the radar.
Didn't even know there was a radar.
The only reason why I even thought of that is because of what Jordan just said about like having to find the enemies.
Yeah.
And there were certain levels where I'm like, I'm running out of time. Where are they? And I would just run around the whole level backtracking. And then once I figured out you just have to go towards like the red like gradients, I was like, oh, that's where they are.
Yeah. In my estimation, anytime I had to stop and think like where's the enemies, that was when I was just like pressing escape and try again.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
by far that was the worst part of the game to me, and it's kind of something related to what I wanted to ask you guys in relation to the S rank missions, particularly, I guess, for Thomas. I'm not sure if Jordan, you did it much, but like for those of you guys that actually like pursued it to a higher degree than what the game is requesting of you, I got this feeling after I did the first S rank, or I guess my only S rank that I like actually tried to do. I was getting more in the zone just with like the regular levels progressing naturally than trying to go back and like optimize my scores. And that's a different feeling for me than when I did something like Super Meat Boy and I was trying to optimize scores in that game. Like that, I really felt like I had to like zone in and focus and like be really, really careful. In this game, I kind of just started getting frustrated, maybe because like the hitbox on a head didn't match up and now my run is bricked, or like just weird janky shit that I think the game did sometimes. Did you guys feel that like consistently throughout your pursuit of S ranks or higher, or like A or S ranks, I guess? But like, did you guys feel similarly, or did you guys like get in that flow state throughout?
You definitely get in a flow state after the first like the every time I chased an S rank was it basically went the same way. My first run was just like me running around the level, trying to plot a path. Runs 2 through 4 we're testing that path and then refining it, and then everything after that was like, okay, this is definitely enough to get an S rank. Let's just rock and roll and execute. And I never really felt like I was getting too fucked by jank. I will admit the head hitbox is definitely really weird sometimes, but um, you after you play enough, you get a really good feel for just hip firing in the head, and the key is just shoot really slow. Like you really, really, really it's like the Desert Eagle in 1.6. Like the guns shoot like the fucking Deagle did in Counter Strike, and you just have to shoot slow and know that your first shot is going to be hitting dead center every single time, and it's not bad as long as you know to shoot with a very very slow cadence. The exception to that being the assault rifle, which is a gun I hated picking up every single time because that thing is fucked up and makes no
That
goddamn
gun
sense.
sucked.
Oh, that was my
Uh,
favorite gun because of the auto aim. I just held down the fire button.
it felt like it just didn't hit heads for some reason.
I think it didn't one-shot heads, but I'm not 100% sure of that. So that's what it felt like. I thought the pistol was the best weapon to use, so I just always tried to get a pistol.
Yeah, like shotgun was nice, but it had too many drawbacks compared to the pistol for sure. I think the only thing to me more useless than the assault rifle was claymores. Did anyone actually
Oh
use
yeah.
those?
Oh,
No.
claymores were great. They were fucking DIY explosive barrels. Like you could just
Claymores
throw
are
them at enemies and they would blow them up. So they were
That's
actually pretty
I
useful.
did
Oh, I didn't
I
know that
I
part.
didn't know you could do it with claymores. I knew you could do that with the bear traps, but I guess it's kind of
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah, all of those like secondary press R weapons were actually like heinously useful for a variety of reasons, either related to claymores are just explosive barrels that kill a bunch of shit at once, or they are pretty generous with timers. Like the bear trap is just like an auto kill and it adds 1 second versus the 0.5 seconds of a headshot. So like they were all really useful.
Yeah, I did like using the bear traps. The one I liked using the least was the RPG, and that's only because like it was tied to like the one mission that I needed to use them on, which is destroy the helicopter.
Hmm.
So if it missed, I just fucking restarted the level.
Oh yeah, I did too.
They respawn, so you don't have to do that.
Yeah, but that's yeah, but you're losing time.
At that point, you don't really need the objectives. That's kind of once I got to like level 15, I stopped going for S ranks. Like I was going for S ranks, but then I think 15 is permafrost, and I was like, I'm just gonna do it when it feels fun. And
Yeah,
at that
I
point,
understand what you're saying, but it's more of like the compulsion.
because I was like, I better not have to restart the level to get the fucking RPGs, and I was like, oh, they respawn, thank God. So
Yeah,
that's
that would
why
have been
I
miserable.
know.
I personally loved the RPG. Like I thought the
Same.
hitbox was a little bit misleading at times, like maybe just compared to the animation, but some of my favorite levels were the ones where like it was a good option to like blow up 5 dudes with it at once or whatever. I really like those ones.
Yeah, I agree. Basically, I liked using it not against helicopters.
Yeah, my only criticism of the RPG is I wish it would have showed up earlier because it was so much fucking fun to use, and it's really nice when you're chasing S ranks to like shoot it across the map to like hit objectives and shit. Like that thing fucking owns.
Yeah, I think my favorite level was probably the very first one that it was introduced, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was for the reason you're saying, where it's just such a good addition to the game that that level really stood out to me.
Yeah, I think my favorite level was one of the ones that was it required basically zero routing. It was more of like an on-rail spectacle where you had to like not get killed by the helicopter and you're
Yeah.
just like running and like you're doing the slides while it's like shooting above you. That was my favorite level.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think it's because I
Mhm.
didn't have to route.
Yeah, I think that I think that levels like that are underratedly good because it's like the feeling that it evokes in me is what's that one Disney ride where you're like on a cart and you have to like shoot with your laser the targets, like that's the feeling I get. I'm just on like a rail track and I just have to hit my targets, and that's fun to me.
Yeah, I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the best levels of the game is when you didn't have to like figure out where to go. It was just go in a straight line, but then you need to figure out like, oh, I didn't kill enough dudes. Oh, I didn't shoot enough explosive barrels. Like, and then you needed to optimize that way versus like, what laptop do I need to touch first?
Yeah, and even though that was true for me, I actually really didn't like the DLC levels. The what are they called? Like everyone's around a circle.
Support group.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I really didn't like the support group levels because it felt like pretty much all of them were that, so it got a
Yeah,
little old.
yeah, I didn't like them very much either.
I only played the first 3, and then when they were all like that, I was like, this isn't fun. And I just didn't play any more of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, my favorite levels are different based on like how I like choose to evaluate them. So when I was just going through the game, my favorite level was definitely level 24, which is the one where you shoot down the helicopter just because it actually had like a like decent little flow because really all you're doing is running in a circle shooting the helicopter with an RPG, and it felt fun, and I liked the actual theming of the level, like being called, what is it, like Javert and Valjean or whatever from fucking Les Mis, because the dude that's been helping you out is the helicopter pilot. Like, I liked everything about that level when I was playing through the game. My favorite when I went back and started doing S ranks was probably level 20, just because I actually had a lot of fun figuring out like the most efficient path through it. And then when I finally fucking executed on it, it felt awesome.
Nice.
And I
like
do want to say, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I like the level before that, 19. It's called Realization, and so this level is probably like nothing. If like I bet you Ben doesn't even like remember this level, but if you go for S rank in this level, so there's a path where you have to run up the tree, right? Like that's the terrible like run up the tree controls. But as far as I know, in order to get the S rank, you have to not do that, and you just jump cliff to cliff. And I think it's really cool. Like I think realization. I don't know if it's intentional of like that's the level name. It ties into the story, and then also to get the S rank, you need to have that realization. But I thought that like whole package was very cool.
Are you talking about the one like where
That's
you're
cool.
bleeding and you gotta like do like the little horseshoe turn and the snipers there and shit? Am I thinking of the right one?
I don't remember if bleeding was introduced yet there or not. I just remember I was hung up on it for like a little bit trying to get the S because it was one of like the straight line levels, and then you need to realize that you don't run up the tree and you save like a second and a half, and that gives you the S fairly easily.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like right in the very beginning of the level, you don't jump up the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. That level was fun. I enjoyed that
Is
level
that the
too.
one where there's like a snowman with a knife in it? Or is that
There's a
another
snowman
one?
with a knife? I never even seen that.
Yeah, because I remember there was one where like you run up the tree and you go across this like bungee cord and it's a dead end, but there's like a cave under you in like the recess of the mountain, and there's just a snowman with a knife in its head,
What
and
the
then you
hell?
just have to turn
What
around
the
and go
hell?
backwards.
I was wondering if
I have no
That's funny.
idea.
I was wondering if those snowmen were tied to like an achievement or like an Easter egg or something. Because like there's definitely some weird ones, and when you shoot them, they just kind of poof, and it seemed like they were weirdly out of place. But I only ever saw like one or two. I didn't see
Never
the one
saw
you're
one.
talking about.
That's awesome.
Even though I said my favorite level was the first RPG level, I do want to give a special shout out to the last level of support group where you have super strength and there's literally just a fucking million enemies at all times. And I don't think I would say it's a well designed level, but it was memorable and fun for what it was, where you
Oh,
have
for
super
sure.
strength, so you're just punching like 6 people into Gibbs all at once. It was a good
Hell
time.
yeah. Ben, did you ever press the 180 button?
No. And I saw in the notes that you said it was controller players. Like I know that there's like a bunch of games that use that, especially like survival horror. Even in those games, I've never pressed the button.
Is it out of principle or you just forget it's there?
I always forget it's there. I just turn
Yeah.
around manually.
Yeah, I forgot it was there in this game pretty much all the time anyway. And I fucking hate those buttons. I feel like if you need to include that button in your game, it's because you designed a level poorly.
I think it's just for controller because doing 180s, usually you don't have high enough sensitivity to do 180s quick enough. In this game, though, it didn't, like, I wish it was quicker. Like, it felt really clunky to press.
Did you use it as mouse and keyboard?
I pressed it when it told me to press it, and I was like, "Oh, I'm never pressing that again."
Yeah,
So
same.
I didn't use it
I pressed it
functionally.
on I pressed it on the level where like the fucking UI tells you it exists, and I never pressed
Yeah.
it on any other level.
I think if you want to have a button like that, it needs to be instant, like instant.
Yeah, like if it's not good enough for mouse and keyboard users, then like why are you even putting it in the tutty for me?
Mhm.
Like just read that I have a controller and give me the HUD in
That'd
that
be
case.
funny.
Yeah, we should probably talk about the soundtrack.
God, it's so good. What the hell?
It is a good soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like the only miss is the fucking white boy rap song. That song is like just no good, and I cannot believe that with the rest of the soundtrack that they made the decision to include that as like the climactic song in the
Yeah.
game and in the trailer, and every other song in the game is like this crazy up tempo breakbeat, gotta go fast, fucking dun, 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 and it's so fucking sick and so thematic to the game. Um, so outside of the one doofy ass fucking backpacker Aesop Rock song, the soundtrack of this game is fucking sick.
Yeah, I think if they put
Yeah,
that
and
song in the credits, I would have liked it a little bit more. Just because, like, that feels like a
agreed.
PS1 classic of where you put the cheesy ass, stupid lyric songs in the fucking credits. It's so that way when you're done with the game, you can go, "What the hell?" Versus in the last level where you're expecting it to be something sick, and then you're like, "Ooh, my ball sack is going into my stomach right now."
Well, see, they do have the cheesy lyric song in the credits. I actually really like that song.
Yeah,
But it was a different song than the one we're talking about, right?
yeah,
Yeah, I'm talking about the song in level 27,
yeah. That's what I'm
26,
saying. Yeah,
whatever. Yeah, that song is stinky butt
if it moved
cheeks.
in, if
Yeah,
that was the credit song, though, I'd be fine.
yeah, I thought it was kind of funny because I let the credits play for a shockingly long amount of time because I didn't realize I could skip them. And I think about a quarter of the way through, all of the music just stops. It's like,
Oh.
that was like 75% of the reason I was
That's
like
funny.
letting this play. Why did the music stop? But I also want to give a shout out along the lines of what Thomas was saying, where it's all this like mega fast breakcore shit. Like I don't know if all you guys did the support group, but find the song for the last level in that one and listen to that shit. 'Cause holy moly!
The support group soundtrack is better than the base game soundtrack.
Yeah. And the last song, like I said, it's the entire level is just a pure fucking calamity. There's a million enemies, all of your stats are amped up, so you have like more health, super strength, all that shit. And there's just like fucking hundreds of these guys. And the song that's playing is the most like fucking chaotic. Like it reminded me of Cigarette Wife from Signalis,
Nice.
but like cranked up to like a billion with how fast and chaotic it is.
I'm trying to remember specifically in the credits. Was there a bunch of dots at the bottom of the screen that signified where you were in the credits?
Yes.
Because okay, so that was this game. And I wasn't like imagining it because I remember when I saw that and I made the connection in my head. I immediately tried to find a way to skip the credits because there was like fucking 200 of them.
It is weird how long the credits were for this game.
Yeah, because like
Or
I guess I didn't actually look because I'm the same as Ben where I try to figure out how to skip the credits ASAP, but I didn't think that this game was made by like a huge team, right? It was just like a few dudes.
Yeah, I have
I'm
no
not
idea how
sure
many
either.
people were involved.
I think that maybe they had like just 1 to 2 names per dot, and I was just like, come on, man.
But yeah, soundtrack of this game, my god, dude. I swear to God, we have played. This is what, the 31st game we've played or something, and I feel like a very common thread in a lot of these games has been no matter how bad the game is, some of these games just have fucking banger fucking soundtracks.
Yeah.
did any of you guys listen to it outside the game?
Yes.
Was this a case of good in the game, bad outside, or is it just good?
It depends on what your tolerance for like up-tempo breakbeat songs is outside of the sphere of trying to speedrun a level. Like to me, it reminded me of listening to the fucking Flashbulb when I was like 15. Like I was listening to fucking Lawn Wake 9 again or some shit. So if your tolerance for that is high and that's something that you actually like, then yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think I'm the odd man out here because I actually much more enjoyed like the main menu, like chill beats. Whereas I didn't even really remember or wasn't really paying attention to the in-stage music, probably because had to be locked in so I can actually progress through the story. But when I was cutting up some of the B-roll, I heard some of the music in the stage and it was kind of like beep boop boop beep boop boop beep, and I was like, it is. I guess it's just not for me, maybe.
I was
So
wondering if it
funny.
was going to be a case of because like you said with some of the other difficult games we played, like Silk Song, that you can't really listen to the soundtrack while you're like focused in
Yeah, I
on a
couldn't.
boss.
That's why I could only really listen to it when I'm looking at the B-roll.
Yeah, see, for me, that's like the opposite. I feel like the soundtrack of this game was like helping me get into the like cadence of what I needed to do.
It's kind of weird because I kind of see where Ben is coming from with that kind of thing. Because on one hand, yes, it's like it is like amping up my blood. It's like make me want to go fast, be twitchy, make the headshot real quick, then move on. But at the same time, like if I was a more like focused and methodical gamer, it might actually like de-assist me in that way. It might
Yeah.
hinder my goals.
I think so like Neon White is kind of the same thing, but I think Neon White's soundtrack is like even better than this game's. But I think what Neon White is like you play a block of levels and then that song never gets interrupted, so the song just kind of like plays. But this game, this feels like there's kind of a lot of interruptions in between, so you can't really like get into like, oh, this song's flop because like you're going to a cutscene, you're fucking replaying the level, you're going into the menu. Like there's too many like breakups of gameplay versus just like, hey, listen to this song for a while.
I mean, even during the level, I thought that was an issue. Like on the level I tried to S rank, like I wanted to just listen to the song, and my run is so short on this level that I just keep hearing the first 5 seconds every run.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think they also occasionally had moments where like they should have shuffled around some of the songs for the levels that happened occasionally, because like the fastest, most like heart pumping song in this game is from a level that's not on a timer, which is fucking Permafrost. That song is so up tempo and fast and like makes you just want to fucking run at like 30 miles per hour. But the level's not timed. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And that there's a couple instances of that.
I think that was just an issue with the overall design of those levels. Like, it just didn't feel like they fit into the game. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't like them at all.
I think if they would have just kept it for the final level only, I think that would have been okay. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's cool. Like, use it as like a benchmark, not as like a moment, you know, like, because you'd be like, oh shit, now I'm just in like a gauntlet for my life or something versus, oh, another one of these.
The weird thing is that those levels, the strongest, I had a very vivid image in my mind when I was playing those levels, and that was doing some of the arcade levels from Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
That's funny.
They gave strong resembles to those levels.
Yeah, I think there's like a place for them, but I don't know. It feels like the game is mostly designed around the time trials, and that shit was just kind of shoehorned in. Like, the systems don't really work as well in those levels to me. And even like Tom said, like, you also lose like the music, right? Like, I feel like those levels should not have the crazy intense music because you could literally just sit in a corner and just be like, how should I kill them for the most amount of points?
Yeah, that's literally a thing in permafrost too. Like if you like hide out in that little like tent, like the helicopter can't shoot you, and it's just easier to sit there and like headshot enemies as they come to you.
Yeah, or you're trying to like group everybody up to kill them with an explosive barrel or something.
Mm.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna do stuff like that, it needs to be like those levels in StarCraft where you're getting like completely overwhelmed by the end of the timer or whatever. Like it needs to be more like that. If in a game like this that is like trying to be fast paced, like it needs to up the dial past where you would normally for like a wave style system.
For sure.
Well, what did you guys think about the voice acting? Because I see a comment in here from Thomas that I might disagree with.
It's so
Same.
fucking good. Well, how you guys are crazy.
So-
outside of everyone other than Alphonse, I don't really have strong opinions on that. But the main dude was fucking great.
Huh? The main dude is
So-
Alphonse.
He's fine.
Yeah,
That's
so
why I said everyone outside of Alphonse.
Gotcha. I had it
So
backwards,
here's
my
the
bad.
thing, like, I actually thought the performances were great. And when I say performances, I mean like the voice direction, like it's especially Alphonse, like the way he spoke the lines and displayed certain emotions and conveyed them. I thought
Yeah.
that was excellent, like god tier. But I just don't like his voice for that character specifically. Like on a genetic level,
That
I
is
don't think that
true.
voice fits. And the reason why, and I remember like I couldn't figure out like a good way to explain this, but I think in Discord someone wrote something about John Wick, and I'm like, I would prefer the character to sound like that, like a grizzled
Yeah.
veteran or like a former Spec Ops type. I don't want him to sound like fucking Dylan Klebold. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. The voice just doesn't work for me for that
See,
character.
I don't know. I actually like because I get that there's definitely like a dissonance there, but I actually kind of liked that dissonance because to me, the character felt like a guy who was just like trying to hang out in the woods, get away from like the fucking military industrial complex. Wasn't like a super overly like emotionally muted kind of guy. He's almost like bizarrely happy-go-lucky about being fucking John Rambo Wick in the fucking middle of the woods or whatever. And I thought that like worked well for the character that he was actually portraying, which was kind of like this like sort of understated but like immensely unstoppable fucking ridiculous badass dude. I don't know. I thought that aspect of it actually worked for me.
For
Yeah,
me, I
I
just
don't-
couldn't root for him.
I don't entirely disagree with either of you, but like the thing I'm having trouble with is like if those scenes were animated or like there were actual like characters speaking to characters in front of each other, like in an animated sense, I don't think that Alphonse's voice would fit like at all. It's kind of hard to
Well-
envision that. But hold on, let me finish. But that's not what this game is. Like it doesn't have those animated scenes, so I think for what it is, his voice does work out pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, if my grandma had balls, she'd be my grandpa. So yeah, they'd have to like completely rewrite and re-record the scenes.
But like what I mean is like as I'm listening to it and I'm like envisioning what this scene looks like because they are like fairly evocative, I just have trouble picturing that. But what I'm hearing is fine.
Well, and you also got to remember they're not actually speaking face to face. Like every scene is them talking over a radio. Well, 95%
Sure.
of them anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I was fine with it. I thought it was cool, like Tom. But then, as Ben mentions it, it is like this guy does have like a sits at his computer, doesn't do anything else kind of voice. Like he does not have like a I've killed thousands
Yeah,
of
he
people
sounds like
voice.
he was bullied in Xbox Live lobbies back in the day, and he grew up and became an ice warden.
Yeah, I don't know. I think for the tone that the game is going for, which is like not overly serious, like the game is not trying to like go above and beyond what it is, which is just like every fucking like military veteran's last mission before they retire gets revenge story, which has been done like 10 million times before, and it wasn't trying to be anything more than that. And I don't know. That it was like a good change of pace from the way that the stories are usually told, which is like John Wick and Rambo, which is what you're describing, which is just like, I don't know, hardened, battle tested, grizzled badass with an axe to grind. And I didn't even think that this dude was too far off of that. He was just a little more nonchalant.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like Marvel movie bathos, you know?
Yeah, I thought all of that stuff was like pretty cohesive. Like I think in another game, the lines from the enemies during the levels, like "He's using headshots," would
Yeah.
sound like
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
terrible. But in this game, it's like actually pretty funny, and it all kind of pulls together in this almost like campy but serious way.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I think that's
You did pick out the one line in the game that every time I heard it, I was like, why? Like, what does he's using headshots means?
I just think it's
I
really
think that's
funny.
hilarious.
Yeah, I just think it's funny that the world reacts to you in a way that like is funny. Like, yeah, because when they say shit like that or like the banter of the characters in the beginning does like better character building of Alphonse than Alphonse does. I think those NPCs are like crucial for his character.
Mm-hmm.
So like in terms of Alphonse, I think everything with Alphonse is like fine or maybe even good, which is important for your main character, obviously. But dear God, if I have to listen to another voice line from what's the name of the big bad? I can't remember his name.
Birkin.
Birkin.
Yeah, if I have to hear one more line from Birkin, I might just Alphonse myself in the head. I don't know, man.
I don't know. I like Birkin, but I think that voice is supposed to be the Liquid Snake voice. Like I'm in my head, that's if I had to pick someone who would play Birkin, it would just be Liquid Snake. But I don't know.
Yeah, I can hear
I
that.
thought he conveyed perfectly, kind of just being like a CIA bigwig. Like that's what one of those would sound like. Honestly, Alphonse himself sounds like what a CIA bigwig would be.
Really? Oh no, he sounds like like angsty boy to me.
Birkin or Alphonse?
Alphonse.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
agree. He kind of sounds like an angsty boy, but also he sort of is, right?
But he could. What I'm saying is his voice style could just put on the Liquid Snake, like just
Oh, you
hey
mean
man,
if
try to do Birkin, and then he would sound like Birkin. Obviously not
I
how
see
his
what you're saying.
performance.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah, and I don't want to take away from his performance because I do think it was like actually godlike. It's just that
It
genetically
doesn't
he
match.
was born wrong for the role, in my opinion.
But yeah, no, like to Tom's original point, I do think like I wasn't expecting the game to have any kind of like good voice acting even, but it was definitely like enjoyable to listen to.
Yeah, and I think that
Okay,
that's
that's
key,
fair.
right? Because the phrasing that I used is that the voice acting of this game punched above its weight class, which I think is a very
Yeah.
like key part of my analysis there. That I didn't expect this game to have as good of a performance as it did, and so
Yep.
it was kind of surprising.
I'm gonna get mildly inflammatory here to draw out some opinions, but Sesh, with Control, for example, when we're talking about AAA games in general, you mentioned how like the presentation better be good for like studios of that size. And kind of conversely with this game, and tell me if this isn't related at all, but like to me, if you're going to have a game like this where there are no cutscenes and it's like only dialogue and you're just seeing the like text flash in front of you, is that another case of it better?
Is it like the performance is better be good, you mean?
Yeah. Because like a lot is writing on it at that point, right?
Yeah. I think if you want to do what they did and you want to take up as much as my time as they did with those cutscenes, then yeah, you better for sure. And I think if you don't have it, then I think you just find a way to probably just flip it into like the intro of the levels, right? so that way it's not as gameplay intrusive. So I think the way that they do it, it better be close to as good as it was. But if not, then I think that they would have had another system to convey the information, or at least I hope so.
Mm.
Yeah.
So like maybe they saw they had good performances and were like, let's put a little bit more spotlight on this.
I imagine they probably designed it with the performances in mind. But yeah, like if not, then I think that would be a good idea for sure.
I don't have like the names for any of this shit to back up what I'm about to say, but I know that this studio worked with this voice actor on their previous game as well. So like they had a known quantity going into this. I don't remember the names of anything I'm talking about, but I do remember seeing that they worked with this guy before.
I think there's something to get like minutia with it. I think like the breath work that he would do in the mic was actually like really
Agreed.
good compared to like almost any other game I can think of.
Yeah.
Because it was just it wasn't annoying and it felt like it fit and it was like very like evocative. Like Seth said, like there's a little bit of imagination that you need to insert since there's no visuals besides the letters. So I think the breaths were fucking awesome.
Yeah, especially like in the later parts when he's like walking around bleeding,
Yeah.
hurt, and all that shit. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, like when he has to cauterize his wound or whatever, it's like
Yeah.
It's interesting you said about placing stuff in the beginning of the levels, because I think one thing that I put down here is that I think they actually could have utilized some more of that empty space, I guess you could call it, like because every level's the same, right? There's like a run up to like a checkpoint, and then the checkpoint is where like you start if you try again. But there's always that like 5 to 10 second run up to that checkpoint, and I feel like that was a little underutilized for what they were doing with the narrative. But it's not like a big sticking point for me. It's not like a big criticism. I just think they could have done more with it.
I agree.
And that being said, they do some weird stuff in the support group DLC because it plays a lot of the dialogue in the like intro scenes that you're describing, like with the walk up to the checkpoint. But it also like slows down time so they can get through all of that dialogue during that time.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah, me neither.
It was very strange.
I did
But
like
I think that
whole idea though. I think that's a very
Yeah.
cool narrative idea of, because at the end of the game I was like, God, I hope the support group's not going to be like him trying to reintegrate back into society or something. But then for it to just be like a different perspective of him owning people, I think was like a super cool idea.
Yeah, I think it was a good choice in general to not undermine the character, and I think it also reinforces what you said earlier about like the performances are a little bit weaker in support group, like pretty unanimously, I think, and so they kind of do what you're talking about, where they integrate it more into the gameplay. Which I assume, Jordan, you're also saying it sounds like you like the ending.
I'm still not sure. Because like it is very like unsatisfying, right? Because like Birkin never, like, what's the change of heart for this guy to suddenly be like, okay, that's too much. Like no one close to him died. What, because 2 pilots and a helicopter died? That's where it was like, okay, this is too much. We got to pull out now. Like, I don't know. It just kind of felt like they needed to end it, so they just did. Where like 3 levels prior, Birkin was like, I'm sending everything at you, and it's not like everything didn't work. He was just like, okay, I give up.
So my interpretation of it was that once Alphonse shot down a fucking helicopter, Birkin was like, all right, that's enough. And then there's a line there at the end where he says something like, I'm not going to be able to protect you anymore. And the way I read that was like, there's always a bigger fish, and whatever the COI is, like there's about to be even bigger agencies coming down on him and trying to take him out or whatever. And so that was basically just Birkin saying, fuck it, we're gonna talk to the manager. You know what I mean? Which may or may not be right. That's just how I read it.
Sure. I don't think there's meant to be like this is what's going to happen, right? If anything, they want that more ambiguity.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could. Maybe I just wasn't listening, and you had already said this, but like there was also kind of like the implication that maybe he was being merciful, because he even said in that ending scene, and I'm talking about Birkin, where he said like, I was actually trying to protect you, and now I can't. So watch out for the bigger dudes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of felt like it needed to end, so they had to end, right? Like there wasn't like any we have your family or like they're launching a nuke and you have to stop that. Like I don't know, there wasn't like any kind of like escalating to one big thing and then de-escalation. It was just like nothing.
Yeah, it felt like it ended on a like cliffhanger, and that like there would be a sequel, but it's kind of hard to imagine there
I don't.
being a
Yeah,
sequel.
I don't think there's a chance in hell.
No, I don't think so either. That being said, I did like the postmodern bent that like the actual ending had, where Alphonse is just kind of just chilling out with the bird.
Yeah, that was dope.
I feel like if anything, the game just needed a little bit more incorporation between Birkin and the helicopter pilot that you buddy and have the
Yeah,
mercy scene with. Like, if it was something like, I don't know, the helicopter pilot was Birkin's bestie and you saved him and showed him mercy, and Birkin is like, oh well, now I have to, you showed mercy, so I'll show you mercy, or
yeah,
like some shit like that. I think it would have tied it all together a little better.
I agree. I think that's great. Also, I'm kind of surprised we didn't get a level of like going and getting the keys, like and destroying the keys for Byron. That felt kind of weird that they brought that up and then we just didn't.
Yeah, agreed.
I thought was going to be like the penultimate level, right? I thought it was going to be like
Yeah,
that was the penultimate, and then the ultimate was going to be like a showdown with Birkin or like some manifestation of Birkin being like some big robot or something.
I was hoping that like in the last level it'd be like an optional
Oh yeah,
like bonus objective to get the key and you get a different ending.
that'd
Like
be
the base ending
sick.
is you don't get the key, and then the other
And then his
ending is you
family
get the key.
dies.
Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah, I think that would be sick. That's like above and beyond for sure. But I think that would be dope as hell.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that it's fair to say that this game still does a lot with a little. So, like, even though we're talking about these things where it could have been better, it's a good density argument. Like, they
Yeah.
present compelling characters, an interesting narrative, do some world building with very little. So,
And I do like it's the story of like the protagonist only gets W's. Like I do appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean that's critical to a John Wick story, right? Like if you ever undermine John Wick's like ability to just fuck everyone in the throat everywhere he goes, he's not really John Wick anymore.
Right. But I mean, he still like gets shot and gets fucked up and stuff, right? Like he did in this game. So you
Sure,
still
he
have to have
gets
some level of that.
yeah. I mean, he gets shot, he gets hurt, but at the end of the day, he's still gonna fuck up everyone
Yeah,
in his path.
still
Yeah.
W's.
And also, like, he converts those moments into W's when it shows how self-sufficient he is, where he can just fucking, like, heal himself with, like, some MacGyver
Yeah.
shit.
yeah, because like I think without something like that, you guys are making me realize this. Without something like that, where it shows that he's injured and stuff, it turns all of the enemies into stormtroopers. Like, is he competent or are they
Mhm.
just incompetent? But
Mhm.
having him weak and then still powering through and healing himself just displays just how competent he is. Yeah.
I mean, that's a good point though, because I definitely feel like all the enemies are stormtroopers, even when they're like, we're bringing in the blue team or whatever, and they have armor on. They're
Yeah.
still dumb as hell. Like,
Yeah.
there's no
Bro.
level of like competent anybody against you.
And yeah, like even in a level when I just see like 3 of them slowly walking up to me with knives, I'm like, hey, here's an RPG I stole from you. Bye.
Yeah, I will say I think the game benefits from it, but man, is the AI in this game some dog shit. But I think it's better for it being
Yeah.
dog
Yes,
shit.
I agree completely, because I would not have been able to beat this game. It, I mean, it did look stupid, but I thought it was really fucking funny when,
Yeah.
like, like the situation you just mentioned, where there's 3 dudes coming at you, but instead of knives, they have actual guns, and I have no weapon at all, and I still just run up to them and I mash the melee button and kill them all.
Yeah, that's like my favorite thing when you got 3 dudes all in a clump and you just walk up with the fucking Duke Nukem nuke boot
Yeah.
and fucking knock them all down.
And that's part of why I like the last level of support group, because you do the same thing, but they all also get
Right.
dismembered horribly at the same time. But yeah, like speaking about the narrative of support group too, man, it was such a missed opportunity for me when you get to the very last level and like Birkin is there and he's talking about shit, and like they wrap up and they're like, yeah, we only had 45 minutes to do this, and they all start walking out of the room. The amount of desire I had to just hear Alphonse walk in and start like tearing them apart was so great that I I had to be disappointed that it wasn't there. I had to be.
That would be sick. I don't know. I think if you're not planning on doing another game, why not do something like that, right? It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Or at least like maybe he's not definitely there, but I don't know, have like some little like inkling of like, oh shit, Alphonse might be there. Like I don't know how that, because he doesn't really like, maybe like Birkin finds like the whittled bird or something that he was doing where it would be like, uh-oh, and then it ends.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily a criticism. It's just like, man,
Yeah, it's
I
an I
wanted this
wish.
so bad.
Yeah. It's not, you're not upset that it's not there, but you wish it was there.
Oh, can I say I had this thought and then it went away and now it just came back, so I don't want it to go away again. The one thing that this game was really missing, and something that gets me to play these games to like a really autistic level, is when they have Steam Friends integration and I can see my friends' times from my
Yeah.
Steam Friends list. This game was missing that so bad. I would have fucking loved that.
Yeah, that, and then like global leaderboards and all that kind of shit. Because that's like half of my enjoyment of Neon White was exactly that. Like you'd finish a level and then you'd be like, I did pretty good, and then it'd be like 4,000, and you're like, I missed something. Let's try it again.
Yeah, like that was the thing that made me put like 100 hours or some shit into Super Meat Boy, because like I would get the very best run that I could, and then I would go and like check my Steam friends like times, and there was always like
Yeah.
these one or two dudes who I was like, who the fuck is that? Oh, it's some Swedish guy I haven't talked to in like 15 years, but his time's better than mine. Fuck that. I'm gonna keep trying.
Yeah. That was my exact like loop on Neon White for sure. Like just play it as best as you could. And then when you finally think you optimized your strat, just go and like look and then be like, oh, that's what I missed. And I definitely don't think that this game had that. And I think it's because a little bit too, like I think the giving time back is like a little bit of a murky system, and like I don't like it as much as just straight up. Like Neon White is just how fast can you do it, and then it's optimizing speed versus optimizing the optimal ways of killing things.
Yeah, I do agree with that 100%.
Yeah, it does really make me wish that something like that was in the game, because that's a big part of the reason some of us like
Yeah.
Dispatch too, right? Like that
Oh,
was an
absolutely.
important part of that game.
That's
Yeah,
a huge miss. That's like a good call out.
There was a game that I was playing recently that had that feature. Man, what the hell was it? It's not going to
I
come
was
to
thinking
me.
the same thing, and I can't remember either.
Yeah, there was some game that I was playing recently that had Steam Friends integration for like, I don't know if it was like a score attack or a time attack or what it was, but yeah, it was
Was
the
it
same
Queue
kind
Up?
of deal. I don't think it was
Queue Up is
Queue
one,
Up.
but
Yeah, Queue Up does have that.
Yeah, like I don't know which game you're talking about specifically, but there's a bunch like that. Like even like Slay the Spire and Monster Train have that
Oh
kind
yeah,
of stuff.
yeah. Monster Train was another one too.
I think it's in something like this, it seems like a slam dunk to include. So the fact that you mentioned it is like, yeah, that is kind of weird.
Was it Ball X Pit? Did Ball X Pit have it?
Yes, it did actually. It did.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, because I saw like people on my friends list having like comically high scores versus some other people on my
Yeah.
friends list that had like the like literal dead
Yeah.
scores, and it amused me.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of, because yeah, you could see like how far people went into like the fucking like stage version 69 or whatever to get the lowest times.
Yeah, I think that stuff's fun. It's definitely a
Yeah.
bummer that it's not in this game.
Yeah, it's like a easy to include way of competing with people
Yeah.
without having to like actually talk to them, but like having benchmarks that you want to reach, you know?
Oh yeah.
It's not like, and again, that's like not including that is not something that would like lower my score, but including it would definitely
Exactly.
be something that would raise my score for sure.
Exactly. I think that's kind of the MO of this game. Like they didn't really fuck up in a lot of spots. I don't think outside of like the gauntlet levels, I think those were a mistake. But like outside of that, it was just kind of more, I wish they did more versus they did this incorrectly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's almost making me wish there was a sequel.
Yeah.
Is this their most recent game? I didn't look.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what do we actually know about this studio? Like, have they made any games that we've played? I'm like totally unfamiliar with these guys.
I'm really having trouble finding it when I look it up on Steam. It's
The most recent game they made is titled Co-op Kaiju Horror Cooking.
okay. I am looking at the right thing. Awesome.
And they
I was convinced I was
also-
looking at the wrong thing.
Don't
game
forget
made-
Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3, by the way.
Don't forget in between those, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown, which is like an XCOM Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
What the hell? These guys are all
Which
over the fucking
Space
place.
Warlord Organ Trading Simulator.
Wait, were these before or after I Am Your Beast? Or a mix of
Iron
both?
Beast is pretty recent,
Those
right?
three we just mentioned are after. Those are all in 2025. But then the one Seth said that's like one of their first games. Yeah, that's like
what
5
the
years ago.
Huh.
I remember seeing Germa play this game.
These guys fucking crank these games out, dude. What the
Yeah.
hell? Maybe this is a way bigger studio than I thought. Because, yeah, I Am Your Beast was their first game. At least their first game listed on Steam.
Oh, that's
No,
wild.
I'm Their
actually.
Beast is their 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Bro.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10th game on Steam.
The
the
names
hell am I
only
looking
get more psychotic. An airport for aliens currently run by dogs.
Yeah, that's their first game.
These guys definitely watch fucking anime. Because these
Or
are like
played-
anime full paragraph titles.
Dude, that game looks yeah. Never mind.
Dog, I'm gonna get stun locked if I keep looking at this shit.
All right, they have one of the best titles for a game I have ever seen in my life,
No,
and
I-
that name is Clickholding.
I knew it. I knew that's what you were gonna say.
That's so fucking good.
That is great.
Especially because the font they use looks like cuckolding. Like it's a very good.
Yeah, it
name.
does.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's good. Well, I don't know any of these games. I don't know anything about them. I don't know what genre they're in.
Yeah.
I know fuck all, but
That I
I
mean,
like them.
yeah. This has to be like a decent sized studio because there's no way you're cranking out 3 games in 2025. Granted, one of them is co-op kaiju horror cooking, so who knows? But then there's also a licensed TMNT game. So
Yeah, that's what confuses me. It's just like, are they doing those specifically to pay the bills, or is there just like an A team that makes I Am Your Beast
yeah.
and a C team that works on like the corporate slop?
Yeah, I mean, Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3 is a Bejeweled game. Like,
What's going
Oh, that
on?
is
These
that is
guys are
good
crazy.
stuff.
Yeah, it's got to be different teams because like look at I just clicked on Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3 and that UI is not that UI
Yeah.
work is not the same UI work that's in I Am Your Beast.
right. This is definitely like a decent enough sized team where I think they have multiple teams working on different projects at the same time, which is crazy. But good for them.
That is funny stuff.
So I'm curious on your guys' thoughts for how do you think that this compares to some of these other like time trial games, and the ones that I think I wrote down in the OneNote were like Super Meat Boy, Neon White, Hotline Miami, Celeste, which is basically just encompassing all of the games I could think of that have this like micro level instant restart sort of
Super
like
Monkey Ball,
model.
shit like that.
Yeah, Super Monkey Ball. That'd be another good one.
I only played the latter two, which is Hotline Miami and Celeste, and I think by default I like this one more because I actually beat it, and I really only beat it for 2 reasons. For Tash is number one, and number two is really short. Whereas like Hotline Miami, I bounced off pretty quick, and Celeste I actually did like Celeste. It was just I didn't beat it because it was too long. So that's all I can really say about it.
Is your reason for bouncing off typically like the dexterity requirements of these games, or is it that mixed with the length that they're like asking?
I
you to
didn't like
commit?
the way Hotline Miami looked. Like I know it's got like a distinct look that people like.
I'm with
but
you.
I just don't like that like old school like Grand Theft Auto 1 looking
I agree.
ass shit.
Yeah, I bounced off that game too.
Yeah,
Great
I,
great soundtrack, bad everything else. IMO.
I didn't like the visuals. I'm with Ben. Like literally, the visuals is why I stopped playing that game. I just did not like it at all.
Yeah, I'm right there. I'm right there with you guys. I didn't. I think I might have beat the first game. If I didn't beat the first game, I got really far into it, and then I didn't even bother playing the second game because yeah.
I think for me, I'm trying to think of more games of the style that I've played, but I mean, I played Super Meat Boy. I played most of Celeste. I don't think I ever finished it. I lump Super Hot in here as well. I think you could make an argument for something like Dishonored would probably be in here. And out of the ones that I've played, including those and maybe more that I can't think of, this might be at the bottom of them.
Yeah, I think I'm with Seth. I think this game's like cool, and I think it's like bite sized, but I don't think this game actually competes with like the actual individual level games.
Yeah, I think it's like it's really good for what it is. Like it's on the bottom of all of those, but I don't think that's to say that I hated this game by any means, but I don't know. I just feel like there's not enough dynamicism in the gameplay that I would like for something like this. It just feels like you figure out your route and then you execute your route, and both of those things don't seem wildly difficult to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would actually agree with you guys. Like one thing that I didn't really bring up, or maybe I did, I don't know, but I was actually a little bit underwhelmed. Underwhelmed is actually the good word for how I felt about it at first, but underwhelmed by the just overall level design. At first, I like actively disliked it because so we've used the word flow a lot, and this game is really bad about getting in its own way with the flow at like every juncture. Like I said, not having a next level button is like a weird way of inhibiting that flow,
Yeah.
but like also just the overall level design, it felt like really lacked a certain degree of that. um because like when I think about flow, right, I think about like pinball, right, where it's just like you're in the fucking zone, you are just hitting ramp after ramp, you're not stopping, you're just fucking cruising out of control. But there's so many moments in this game where whether it's like enemy AI, whether it's like wonky, like actual geometry of the level, it just feels like there's like a weird pause or like a weird gap in the gameplay. And for that reason alone, like it really bugged me at first. But once I went back and started doing all the S rank stuff, then I gained a little more appreciation because I actually figured out what the intended flow of the levels were. But I also feel like the levels were so simple that figuring that
Yeah.
routing out for all of them, like it also sort of damns the level design a little bit because it felt like it should have been harder to figure out the pathways through that S rank. So at first, it was like, damn, the level design of this game is like pretty bad, and that evolved into, well, actually, the level design of this game is just a little bit too simple for what it is.
Yeah.
And case in point, I actually went and watched the any percent world record run for this game because it was only like 15 minutes long or something, and for at least the first 20 levels, outside of maybe a couple where there was some like skips you could do that I wouldn't have found without watching that video, he by and large did all of the same shit that I did.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not a lot of room for like creativity.
Yeah, I think that's a real shame in games like these. That's part of the reason why I brought up Dishonored and why I like that game so much for this particular genre is there's just like so much different stuff you can do in that game by comparison, which AAA studio versus this studio, not a fair comparison, but just a comparison I'm trying to make, period.
Yeah, I'm just saying I would overall agree that like of all the time trial games that we're talking about here, I do think that this is in like the bottom quadrant of them.
But I do think
I,
that
I
there
hate
is an
Celeste,
upside.
but
I think there's an upside of what you're saying too, as well as I don't think Ben's beating any of those other games. So I think that
Yeah,
this is kind of like baby's first like IL speedrun game, and that's
yeah.
literally why I picked it.
It's
uh,
also going to amuse me greatly when I give the highest rating out of all of us to this game.
I think I have all of you guys around the same. Like, I think everyone is around like the same, like 0.5 to 1.0 rating. I honestly had no idea how to guess for you guys.
I have a feeling I overrated everyone.
Probably not me. I think I'm gonna have the highest rating by a lot.
Well, then give your rating.
What the hell? We're doing that?
Yeah.
Unless you guys got other stuff you want to hit.
I got nothing.
Yeah, honestly, I think we pretty much covered most of the stuff.
Yep.
Hang on. Okay. Sorry, I had to pull up my shit. I don't have a super long overall review for this game, because like I'm gonna just be honest, I thought this game was pretty fucking cracked. Early on, I was really close to writing it off because of some of the minor issues we talked about, like the level design was a big one. I really disliked the not having a next level, like I can't explain that. I don't know if it's just like a weird like fucking neurodivergent thing that just really bugged me for not being in the game, but I really hated that that wasn't in the game. There's just like a lot of minor issues that just kind of piled up over the course of the first maybe like 30 to 45 minutes that I played this game, but I felt like at some point this game really turned the corner and got its tendrils into me. And once I stopped playing it like it was a Half-Life style story driven FPS and just kind of let it breathe as the like time trial, time attack game that it is, I found myself enjoying it a lot more. And I also found myself enjoying some of the nuts and bolts inside of the game because there was some other stuff too that bugged me. Like, I really, the head hitbox bothered me for a little while until I got a good feel for it. And then it actually started feeling like something that was a little more skill testing and a little more like unique to this game. And less bad, more just like something to learn and adjust to. So, again, once I kind of got into the flow and started chasing some of those S ranks, I felt like the game actually did a really good job of molding a lot of the small frustrations that I had into a lot of enjoyment and dopamine. And yeah, honestly, this game was pretty fucking awesome. But yeah, a little bit of a rocky start, but it ended up avalanching into something that I ultimately actually ended up enjoying quite a lot, and I'm actually going to keep playing it after we even finish this, which is not something I typically do for Tash games. So this motherfucker is a 9 out of 10.
Oh, so much higher than I thought. Wow.
Nice job, Ben.
I actually wrote 9 at first and then I lowered it just to be safe, but oh well.
I mean, points is points.
Yep.
I'll just go top to bottom. So Jordan, you can go next.
Yeah. So I mean, I think this game is like is just like good for what it is. Like, I don't think it's trying to really compete with like I'm the best individual level speedrun game. So I think it's fun, and I think it's like good for people like Ben who don't play these style games to kind of like just dip their toe in and be like, oh, this is what this is like, and then you can figure out like if you really like it, then you can move on to like the more big ones like Neon White, because basically, like I've mentioned a couple times before, but I basically just picked this because I want to pick Neon White because I think Neon White is like the best designed like platforming game there is, basically. But I think this game actually does do like narrative better than that game does, because I think that game's kind of cringe, but everything else I think that game does way better than this game. But I still think that this was like a solid and fun experience. So for me, it's a 6 out of 10.
Oh, thank God.
Nice.
I got there. Yeah. And thinking about it, I think I've just realized that I actually just really fucking love these styles of games. Like it scratches the same itch that like a rhythm game does, right? Where it's like rhythm games are like once you get to a certain skill level, it's just play the same shit over and over again until you get the desired outcome. And like obviously as a person who spent their entire teenage years playing fucking Stepmania, spamming Quasar 1.7 rate for hours on end at a time so that I could post a screenshot on Flash Revolution. Like, this game really scratches that itch, and I just fucking love these games. Which is a roundabout way of saying I actually really want to play Neon White, because I played a little bit of it, but I never got super into it.
Yeah.
So if you don't pick it, I'm just gonna fucking play it.
I'm not gonna pick it. I think it's too much for Ben. Just thinking of what, because like those levels are hard. Like beating the levels
Yeah.
in those games is hard, and like the freedom that you have, like routing in that game is crazy compared to this game.
Yeah, that's actually
But
true.
it's too much. Like
The
it's like a
little-
20-hour experience.
Yeah, the little that I actually played of Neon White, it is astoundingly much harder than this game.
Yeah. I can't pick it for. 'Cause there's no journalist mode either. Like there's auto aim, but it's not enough. Like because that game is
No.
hard.
Is it like for the parkour too, or is that just like even not
it's
that big
both.
of a deal?
Because like you have to like aim while moving quickly, and and then like like there's like bounce mechanics and stuff, and like you're just going really fast and you're aiming like close to as precise as this game wants you to aim. Like it's a lot.
And I think for me, I kind of resonated with a lot of what Thomas said, but in a slightly different way, where like a lot of games that I love, I play for the enjoyment of the challenge. When I say that, I'm thinking of games like any FromSoft game, like some of the harder content in World of Warcraft. But I think the important thing for me with most of that difficulty, and the reason I don't always super get into games like this, is because I feel like most games like this just lack an external reward system. like if you want to think of me as a rat in a cage and I press a button and I get fed, yes, that is me. But I think it is important for my actual enjoyment of the game to get something out of the challenge, because I don't know, I just don't get a ton of satisfaction out of being able to say that I S ranked a level. I'm not trying to criticize anyone that does get something out of that. It's just, a feeling that I get after I beat the games. And if the game is fun enough, like something like Super Meat Boy, then I can kind of get over that. But I don't know. I think that this game's lack of external reward structure is kind of what drove me to not have a strong desire to pick it up again or go for a lot of S ranks. And I think some of the like gameplay narrative criticisms mean that this game didn't really evolve past anything other than like a baseline of what I would expect from this style of game. Soundtrack is really cool. Some of the levels were very fun and memorable. Alphonse had a pretty good performance. But unfortunately, at the end of the day, I think I'm gonna forget about this game in like a year. So I'm gonna give it a 6.5.
I'm
Damn.
so
Damn.
good.
Nice.
You got me.
Would a leaderboard be enough of an external reward system for you?
It would be something. I don't know if it would still like get me there, but it's definitely something.
You would want would you want like costumes in the game or something like that? Like what would be something that the game could give you that would make you want to keep playing it?
I mean, I think that a leaderboard would be fine. I mean, like when I'm playing World of Warcraft, like, yeah, there's like loot that you get from bosses, but if you've ever played with me, I say that I don't give a fuck about loot. All I care about is number go up. And like the big thing in that game for me is just getting higher percentiles on boss scores. Like that's it. So a leaderboard would fulfill that function for me. I think. I don't know.
Gotcha.
The gameplay might not be good enough in this game to justify
Yeah, I think
that,
that's the
but
main thing.
it would help.
Yeah. I think it would. I agree. I think it would help, but I don't know if there's enough there for you to kind of just be able to take enough like enjoyment out of having that, because then you'd get that, and then I'm sure you'd like go through a run of a level. Because I think like the S ranks are arbitrary anyway, right? Some of the S's I like smashed, and some of them were like, I'm not doing that. So
Like I'll put it this way, like a leaderboard like what you're describing would be like a free half point, I think.
exactly.
But if you had like a halfway decent reward structure where you're like unlocking new weapons that spill into your runs and it unlocks new routes and all this kind of stuff, then that would like be plus 1 point territory, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Seth, did you ever play Trackmania? Was that ever a game you got into?
Yeah, I love that game.
Yeah. So like how does something like this game in your mind, and what are like I guess kind of like just compare and contrast, right? The reward structure of something like chasing Nadio ranks in Trackmania versus trying to get S ranks in this. Like what's the, because in my mind anyway, they're the same thing, even though like the presentation and I guess like the reward structure itself is a little bit different, but like the feeling I get is the exact same. And I'm curious what the difference there is for you.
If you want me to boil it down to one singular thing, because I think you're right, where the presentation of like you beat a run, it's really good, and you hear the ding, 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 ding of all of your medals stacking on top of each other, like that does help. But honestly, I think Trackmania hits in a different way, because when you're pursuing those challenges, you can have the ghost there, so it feels more like you're actively competing rather than pursuing. I think that having the ghost there is even better than a leaderboard.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I would that would probably be the two main things that are different between these games, or the two main things that are different for me in terms of the reward structure between those two games. But then I think that Trackmania is also like possibly the best racing game ever made, so it's hard to compare in that sense because
Yeah.
the gameplay is just so much fun.
Yeah, I was avoiding like bringing that game up as a comparison to this game because I feel like racing games just kind of have a different mouth feel, even though like the idea is kind of the same. But the more I thought about it, the more that I really did kind of get this. Like my brain is attenuated the same way playing this game as it is trying to chase those Nadio medals in Trackmania. So
Yeah, because like man, the more I think about it, the more like you're trying to get the Nadio score and you think you're ahead, but then the ghost zooms past you and you're like, fuck, and you really want to try again. Or the opposite, where you're like, oh my god, it's so far ahead of me, but you start catching up on speed. Like both of those are good feelings in different ways. Ben, how about you?
Yeah, so I had some time to just think about it just now, especially after hearing what you had to say about it, Seth, and it made me try to like kind of like contextualize how I feel about that kind of leaderboardy style. Or like, even though this game didn't have leaderboards, it's a game that's like conducive to having them, where you're competing with other people, or not necessarily even competing, but you're just doing it for the sake of perfection, basically, like kind of like Step Mania and stuff like that. And I was trying to think of like what my feelings are, and at first I was thinking that I just kind of categorically hate them, but I know that's not actually true, because I'm more discriminatory, where it's based on the genre and the mechanics. Whereas, like, if it was like an MMO, like in Final Fantasy 14, the only reason why I did endgame rating was to upload my logs and see the color be good and laugh at the
Yep.
people that were gray. Like, that's like the best
Yep.
feeling in the world. And knowing that I have the skill to actually achieve those high scores, which is why I don't necessarily like them for other games like this, where because I'm racist against first person shooters. I know I'm never going to compete. So seeing that kind of leaderboards for games like this is demoralizing. It just makes me not want to play, because I know I'm never going to get like in the high scores. That being said, and this probably goes against what you guys want in this, but the fact that there was a story, even if it was a little cringe, like that was enough for me to actually kind of like really enjoy this game. And that's why I was so anti gaining the progressions, because I just liked seeing the story unfold as I played through it. Um so and for like any of like that optional stuff, I like you guys kept talking about support group. I assume that's like DLC missions. I don't even know what that is. I didn't even touch it. So rating what I experienced was, which was just the story, and that's all I did. Um I would rate it an 8.5 out of 10. It's a game that I would never play of my own volition. It's a game I'll never play again, but I did enjoy immensely the one time that I did play it, and that's about it.
That's dope.
That is fair. I kind of felt like I was being a little low on my rating just because of like how the game sat with me, but like you're totally right in terms of it as a like one-time playthrough. If you just ignore like pursuing S ranks and stuff like that, it is still an enjoyable experience.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and like the chasing S rank stuff, I recognize like you guys just got to understand like games that do that and like trying to achieve that like min-maxed route to perfection, that shit is just like crack to my brain. So like games like this, I will always rate games like this high, just because they I don't know, it's just this type of shit has just percolated in my brain and been addicting as fuck ever since I was a kid, basically.
Oh yeah, I love these
Yeah,
styles.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to bring up too, whereas I actually think that I have like the same addiction as well, but it's just much more limited in genre.
Sure, yeah. You don't like being the gray number in
Yeah.
Yeah,
the I
exactly.
am your beast.
And that's fair. Like if I only saw gray numbers when I started playing WoW, I don't know if I would have kept playing. But it's like that, or like that very first time where you're like, man, I just keep getting gray numbers, and then that one time you get like a purple or something like that. Oh fuck
Yeah.
let's go. All right, well, that was I Am Your Beast. I chose the next game, but we have an intermezzo for it. The game that I chose is Synthetic, which is like a roguelike kind of isometric shooty style game. But our intermezzo game that we'll be talking about next week is The Dark Queen of Morthome. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's a pretty cool game. I got a chance to play a little bit of it. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, I think I chose it. The majority of the reason I chose it is because I'm going to be in a hotel all week, and this game is apparently very short. Like you can 100% it all in an hour, and it sounded like it was more of a like conceptual like idea thing more than anything else. So I guess just interested to explore that concept with you guys next week.
Oh yeah.
Goodbye.
See ya.